up one more time for all of the presenters.
Yeah!
Now we're moving on to the second round of Q&A. Project teams, please come back up onto the stage if you haven't already, or for the ones that just were presented, for some questions. We will start with questions from our in-person viewers again first, and then we will move on to the Zoom questions. So I will now open the floor to anybody in person that has questions for any of the project teams. Yes.
Hi. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm Rio. I'm a third-year sociology major enrolling in 107A next quarter. And my question is, if you could go back to being in the position that I'm in, what would you tell yourself, or what's a piece of advice?
Be prepared for a lot of group work, and just be prepared for be prepared for anything to happen, in a sense where I think a major theme throughout all of our group projects is that pivots happen, and we just can't overemphasize it enough. They happen, and you kind of have to learn how to take them in as a lesson, and move forward with it.
I would also say keep a really open mind, because I knew coming into this I was going to learn a lot of things, but I had some expectations about what that would look like, and it did not meet those expectations, but I learned a lot of other things that I did not know I was going to learn, and I met a lot of really cool people, and I met people all the way across the world, so just be excited for whatever's going to come your way, because it's going to be cool no matter what.
Yeah, also the final thing is you can do your own individually decided project, there are people who literally had their own idea and followed it and made something completely different, and then there's some of us who kind of just carried on the legacies of other projects. So if there's an angle that you're going to be really passionate about and you think is a really good idea, this is the spot to do it, and start early on that idea, because that's how you're going to get the most fulfillment out of this whole program, is doing something you really care about.
So as mentioned, you will be doing a lot of project work. So I think one thing that's really important to keep in mind is that people usually don't have any ill intentions in mind. So if you're one of your group members is not doing their part, instead of automatically getting angry, reach out hey, do you need some support? And that's really the way to keep the good team dynamic throughout the year that you'll be working together.
Thank you for your question. Yes.
How did leaving the entire project feel, coming back here after?
Is that directed towards a specific
Oh,
team?
sorry. It could be towards anyone, actually.
Yeah, she asked, how did coming back here after your project impact you?
Well, from talking to other students, who just came to watch, who were kind of had the feeling of damn, you guys are actually doing something tangible rather than just taking classes. It kind of made me feel a little proud and actually reflect on the experience I got from, doing something that 90% of other individuals going to college probably wouldn't be doing. And especially myself, because I used to be doing a bunch of STEM classes where I was just doing problem sets every night. It kind of made me proud of what the experience that I gained from at least talking to other people and having new experiences.
I think for me it was really empowering. After the pandemic, it was really easy to lose touch of what we're passionate about. So being on the field and actually working with people, it really brought back why I'm doing what I do, and just really made me feel good overall.
I think the biggest impact it had on our team was after coming back here from Costa Rica, we really wanted to take the values that we learned from the community and implement them within our project and hopefully within our community. And it was almost like a reverse cultural shock coming back into the United States because you become so close with your host family and the community we lived in for 3 weeks that it was a bit of an adjustment coming back here, but I think we executed the values really well and hopefully promoted them throughout our story map. Awesome, next question. Okay, we will now go to Zoom. Oh wait, we have one more. Sorry.
Hi, this goes to the QnA2. I was wondering, since you spent 3 weeks in Costa Rica, how did you balance the community work you did with cultural exploration? As I know it was, I think, some of your first times going?
So for this, like the bulk of the project was mainly just like shooting and being on the ground. For Monday through Friday, we'd spend a lot of the time at the institute, kind of talking to staff and getting to know all the people that we found ourselves working with. But we kind of took the time on the weekends to do cultural hikes, explore a bunch of little tidbits that aren't really on like tourist guides. There's community centers that aren't on the map. There's a community garden that was founded by a community fund that happened over the pandemic, and there was a bunch of social sports classes and all that, so it was really fun to kind of balance that all together. Megan.
Yeah, I think we had a really good mix of balancing our work and immersing ourselves within the community as well, because it was more than just working with the Institute, it was working with the people that live there, because there's only 6,000 residents in the town of Monteverde, so it's a pretty tight-knit community. So like on Saturdays, we would play Ultimate Frisbee with community members at one of the local elementary schools, and then during the week, we would do our interviews and go on hikes and get the footage of everything that we gathered for our story map. So I think we balanced our work and our fun really well.
Yeah, the first week, it was very much more of just like me and Ivana just like going to the Institute for the whole entire day and like doing stuff. But then once Derek and Megan came, it was a lot more fun because I mean it was very much needed. And doing fun stuff, we were able to connect more with the community. We would do things with community members that we met in this trip.
Thank you. We have one more in-person question. This will be our last in-person.
Yeah, hi. I just want to say congratulations to you guys and like all your work. Like that's really impressive. It's really awesome. This question was toward the Global Collab for Change group. I was really interested in like your project-based like your best practices that you learned from project-based learning. I think that like obviously, especially when it comes to organizing, like I do a lot of community organizing, and it's really important that like we kind of like use some of the skill sets from project-based learning to like apply to like our advocacy to make it more sophisticated and make sure it's more focused. And so I'm wondering like what was your highlight, or what kind of stood out to you, or maybe what surprised you in effective approaches to project-based strategies?
Yeah, so I think one thing that we learned is like the importance of research, right? So like we talked about, we wanted to do a project with farmers in Bhutan, and that was like our initial project idea and everything, but what we found was we lacked in the research department. Like we kind of had a broad understanding of what they needed, but then we didn't know necessarily how to implement that because we felt like we didn't have any like specific information as to how like the farmers do their like day-to-day activities and everything like that. And especially thinking about internationally, what we wanted to keep in mind always were like our power dynamics, especially as students who go to a university in the US. There's just a lot to unpack there when working with countries in Asia, for example. And yeah.
Yeah, and another thing I wanted to add was, well, you've probably heard this a lot, but communication is key because, us four, we got along really well as just humans. Like, we could chat and talk and we're having a good time, but we found that sometimes wasn't enough to make a good team. We really needed to be able to communicate to each other, hold each other accountable, set deadlines, and not just be like super go with the flow, like how we would be if we were just hanging out.
All All right, we're now going to move to our Zoom questions. Phoenix, would you like to share?
I unfortunately do not have any for you.
Okay, great. We're going to move on to our raffle. Thank you, everybody, for your questions.
We're gonna make this super quick and speedy. So now it's the time you've all been waiting for. It's the raffle. So we have a $25 gift card to Glacier Locations Penny's Ice Creamery and the picnic basket. We also have an assorted coffee from Verve and for online a $25 gift card to the bookstore. So we're gonna get right into it.
Bookstore.
Who's excited? Give me a drum roll. Okay. Wow. No. Okay. So, for the first prize of the $25 gift card to Glacier Locations, Penny's Ice Creamery, and the picnic basket goes to 3797522. Let me
Repeat the last one, please.
7522. Verifying. Yeah!
Thank you.
Okay, and then for our assorted mix of Verve Coffee Roasters coffee, drum roll, please. Okay, we have 3797531.
Bingo.
No one. Okay, 3797531. Do I need to pick one? Okay, that one was a buzz. Brutal. Okay, this one is real easy. 3797555. Sounds like an IF commercial. Come on, y'all. Yay! I hope you drink coffee. This is what you're getting. Wait, verification. They're a winner. Okay, and then we have our final Zoom winner, presented by Phoenix, who I will now run the mic over to.
Or she can yell.
Okay, she can present.
My Zoom winner is Ruby Wong, and Ruby, I will be sending you my email and get connections for
Yeah, Ruby Wong.
Woo! Thank you for joining us online. A big thank you to Verve Coffee, Penny Ice Creamery, and Santa Cruz Bookstore for sponsoring our student showcase, and congratulations to all of our winners. Moving on to our final remarks, y'all.
Now, if any of you are unhappy with your prize, I will gladly take them for you and enjoy them myself. So, now to conclude the night, we welcome back to the stage Dr. Chris Benner to give us our closing thoughts, and thank you all for coming. And for me personally, thank you all for coming, and thank you.
Yeah, so this will be really short, just a couple of last thoughts that I wanted to add. One is just to recognize that learning and social change is not an individual enterprise. It takes a community. And I hope you all got a sense that the Everett program is as much a community of students supporting each other as it is an educational program. But that would not be possible without the support also of friends, family, alumni, our community partners, all of you who came out here tonight to show your support and hear the great work that they're doing. So thank you all, and please give yourselves a great round of applause for your support of the student program. I especially want to thank those of you on Zoom who managed to hang here through all of the technical difficulties. We really deeply appreciate your support. And I also wanted to lift up, in particular, two people who I should have called out earlier for the great support that they have provided for the program. And these are two executive fellows who were with the program during the beginning part of these projects, and then their fellowship ended during the summer. But they came back to hear the students finish their projects. So Karina Cruz Rosales and Alexander Mendoza. wanted to acknowledge too, she just left right at the end, but our Dean of Social Sciences, Catherine Mitchell, has just been a tremendous supporter of the program in both small and large ways. And she came here tonight, not to be visible and present and make a speech, but just to show her support and hear about the great work. So I will send her an email and let her know all of your appreciation, but just want you to know she's been a tremendous supporter of the program. My last comment is just, it was captured right there at the end from the Monteverde Project, who said, don't be afraid to start small to make social change. And I think that's a really incredibly important notion, that sometimes it can be overwhelming thinking about the challenges in the world. Global climate change, the levels of racial injustice, overcoming colonialism and the legacies of that. They're huge problems. And yet, we can start where we are and make change in that way. And you've seen students doing that. But I think it's also important to recognize, when you look at the theme that they came up with for this session, emerging community futures, is that it doesn't stop at starting small. Because people are making those changes everywhere in the world at the same time. And there's a great book that just came out this year by a Princeton professor and director of the Ida B. Wells Data Justice Center, Ruha Benjamin is her name. It's called Viral Justice. And it's a really powerful notion of starting small, but we get inspired by each other and learn about each other and connect to each other. And part of that is that's how we make large-scale change in the world. So viral justice. And so the last point is just thinking that the future is in good hands. And you see that here tonight in the leadership students have shown. And I want to give the presenters one last round of applause and appreciation for what they've accomplished this year and what they will continue to accomplish for the rest of their lives. Great work tonight.
And that's it for us, folks. Have an amazing night, and I hope you have a great weekend and holidays and all that. Bless you, and thanks for coming out. And yep, you're getting up and you're moving and you're great. Bye.
What am I doing? Is this on? Another round of applause for our students. Give it up for them.